Oh yes, the very distinctive sight, sound and even smell of the Bakerloo line, the oldest tube rolling stock on the London Underground. If you've ever wondered what it's like to drive one, well now you can, courtesy of Train World Simulator 2, and I'm off to get a big train from Waterloo and Waterloo East to head down to Chatham to meet the makers of the game at Dovetail Games. So I've come to Chatham, to the old dockyard, which is where they're based in this splendid building. In there, Dovetail Games, gonna have a go at the game and chat to one of their producers. Released earlier this year, Train Sim World 2 lets you take control of a variety of trains, but we're here to focus on the Bakerloo line on the Underground. You can sit in the cab with realistic controls, take control and drive it, as well as also experience the outside world on platforms and stations. It's an incredibly detailed, immersive experience, and in between playing it on the PlayStation version that they've got set up in their offices, I asked Matt, a producer, how it all began.
So Train Simulator started about 10 years ago, as you say, and built up a really interesting product about driving trains and grew a huge fan base. And it's still growing, it's still being developed, and we just put the latest version of that out this year.
So Train Sim World 2 has just come out this summer, and it got my attention. Like, my Twitter went into meltdown because people were like, Jeff, they've added the Bakerloo line, you must play it. And then we got in touch and we started chatting. And so my obvious question is why the Bakerloo line out of all 11 tube lines?
So we spent a long time looking at all the different tube lines. There was a lot of people were contacting us saying, you need to do tube, you need to do the London Underground. And so we thought, okay, we need to listen to this and actually go and have a look. So we spent a bunch of time looking at all the lines, analysing what would be easy to make in the game, what would be very difficult to make in the game, what makes a good experience, because some lines are automatic or semi-automatic, and some are still manually driven. Some have got a much more modern signalling system, some of them have got a very conventional signalling system. So it's weighing all the pros and cons, the length, how many stations, all the things that make things difficult to make. And the Bakerloo line and the Piccadilly line were the two we ended up on being our favourites that we were going to make. And ultimately the decision was the Piccadilly line felt like a more manageable project for us to do at first, so that we can see, well, we've never done an underground line before. There are things that we might come across, and we almost certainly will, and did, that will make it difficult. So let's pick a reasonable sized project. And I'm really glad we picked Bakerloo line.
So put it in off and release. I mean, you generally want to enter the station with no power applied, so that you're easy to apply.
And then how do I know when to brake?
Judging. We put the colour bar on there to give you a clear idea of how far, because these trains actually brake really well. We put it back into off and release again and just
coast. Oh no, I broke too soon. My initial thought when playing it is this is incredibly detailed. Piccadilly Circus looks like Piccadilly Circus. That the sound of the doors closing and the train whistle are the exact sound. So did you create those from scratch, or did you go and take pictures? Did you do site visits, or did you talk to TfL? How did you make it so amazingly accurate?
So we use a combination of techniques for every route we do, and it's no different here. We were able to work closely with TfL, who granted us access to go down to all the platforms and take lots of photographs. We took photographs of the trains. We were able to do some recordings from the trains, but we weren't able to do a full recording setup just because of practicalities. So the beeps and things like that, and of the doors and so forth, we were able to get some good recordings from those. There's also, it's the London Underground. It's very heavily documented online, so there's a lot of reference material online. There's a lot of cab ride videos, which are really useful to look at as well. So we reference those on YouTube and on DVD. So we found anything and everything, which is what we do for every project, is we go hunting for everything we can find, and then we go and see what we can get ourselves. And then we just try and work out, and we usually can find anything and everything that we need in one way, shape or form.
So I've entered Waterloo and off and release, and I'm going to give it a bit of break now. Where's my split? Okay, too much. Oh, too much. Far too much. I've gone the wrong way.
It takes practice, doesn't it?
No, I was going up instead of down. No, I'm not. Okay,
yes.
I did the wrong. Now, it's out there in the world. It's been out there for a couple of months. I know you have a couple of, are you allowed to say this? You have a couple of tube drivers that are actually on your beta program, but do you get feedback? Do you have tube drivers get in touch saying, yeah, this is really real? Or are they critical? They go, oh, you got that wrong.
Mix. We get,
Okay.
and it's all really good feedback. I mean, when we've worked with, we were always looking at trying to bring in people onto our beta program, which is not just a beta program. They help us really right from the very beginning of projects as well, to understand, what are the nuances that they understand, that they appreciate when they're driving? What are the things that they see? The things that are not obvious to someone who doesn't drive on the route.
But then you have that brilliant moment on the Bakerloo line where it comes out into the daylight at Queen's Park, and you've got the carriage sheds there, East Coast Main Line, and it's just, and then wonderfully, I mean, that's what I like about the Bakerloo line. You've got the underground bit, but then there's the outside bit as well, and the outside is just as detailed as the tunnel and the station sections, right?
Yeah, I mean, Queen's Park is a really interesting station just because it's the busiest point on the line, because every train will go to Queen's Park, whether some will go on to Stonebridge, some will go on to Harrow, but every train goes to Queen's Park, which means it's the busiest point on the route, and it's really fascinating just to, because in Trainsim World you can get off the train and just stand and watch.
Passengers are reminded that smoking is prohibited at all stations.
In timetable mode, they'll just do what trains normally do. So some of the trains will go through, some of them will go into the carriage sidings, stop and come back out later on and go back down into the tunnels again. So yeah, there's so much there to look at.
Have you been out onto the Bakerloo line in London since the game has come out? Because I'm also imagining a world where you could take your laptop and you could sit on a Bakerloo line train playing the game whilst travelling on a Bakerloo line train.
It's not something I've done. However, many, and not on this particular, not on the Bakerloo line, I did hear of a story of someone who was playing Train Simulator on a West Coast Main Line train, and they were driving on their laptop the same train, doing the same journey that they were actually on in real life. And the little lady that was sitting next to him at the time was really concerned that he wasn't sitting in the front. Shouldn't you be in the front, was her exact words.
Is that a true
That's
story?
a true story. It's just, so you had to explain, no, this is a game.
And if you apply the brakes now, there you go. Perfect. Almost spot on, actually.
The squeal of the brakes
Yeah.
it's so real. It's
Yeah,
really
the audio team
real.
would do a really good job of capturing that. So if you use the right D-pad, then
So
that'll
press
open the
right, doors
doors. That'll
open,
open the doors. If you now actually click the right stick,
click the right stick.
yeah, click it in.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can use the right stick to
Oh,
look
okay,
around,
you can
so
then
you
have
can
a look.
actually see what's going on.
I think a lot of people don't realise how many hours work go into it. You have a team here of over 100 people working on. How about that? You have more than one Dovetail make, not just this game. How many people are working on Train SimWorld?
Actually, the development studio itself is probably in the order of 50, 60 people, something like that, across the rail vehicle teams, the environment teams and so forth.
So I've been fortunate enough to actually go to some train depots where they have their, multi-million pound simulators. Is this, how close is it to that? Is it insulting to say it's just a computer game, or is it actually so near what it's like that it is almost, you could train yourself to drive one using your game?
So we pitched the game as a game. Just to be really clear, we pitched this to be, we build this to be as a video game, but actually there's a lot of detail accuracy going on inside, which is way beyond what a normal video game would do. So we developed new tech for Unreal called Simograph, which enables us to simulate propulsion and braking physics, so the go-stop physics as I call it. You end up with an engineering style diagram which has got valves and pipes and all sorts of connecting rods in there, and so essentially you wire all of these hydraulics and mechanical things together, and then it can work out this engine is turning at this much speed with this much torque, that's driving this particular connecting system. So when you're driving the train, moving the throttle, it's doing the accurate thing underneath in the simulation. When you apply the brakes, we're trying to simulate exactly what's going on with the brakes, even down to when you apply brakes on a train. There's a time that it takes for air to change air pressure down the length of the train, which affects how the train brakes and how it releases brakes and so forth. So we simulate all of that stuff.
Because Wright will give you the cab light on the other side of the cab, so it doesn't give you too harsh light on this side.
So you can see a bit of what's going on
Yeah, you
inside
can
the
see
cab.
better. The cab will
Okay.
remain visible then when you're in the tunnel. So some people prefer to drive with the cab on, even though in reality you wouldn't, because you'd get all the glare in the windows.
I think I would. I would. Tube drivers that are watching, do you drive with the cab light on or not? We should find out. Okay, so that was Waterloo. Charing Cross next? No, Embankment.
Embankment is next, tilts in the top left.
Let's do one more. And you say that so simply, like someone, we simulate all that, but that's somebody's job here. They've sat and they've written code behind it. It's a bit like The Matrix, isn't it? Like the movie, where they've written code about how real life works. That's what they've done.
That's exactly it. And it's
I've just likened your game to The Matrix. Is that okay?
It's really. I mean, there's 2 or 3 people in the company that have really got to grips with how to recreate these, absolutely in detail recreations of the inner workings of trains, the things that nobody spends any time understanding with trains, because the information is really difficult to get, and even if you can get it, it's usually these obtuse, really weird diagrams that actually make no sense unless you happen to be in that field anyway.
So Embankment approaching.
Yep, so you cut your power. One more, that's it.
Coming in at 30 miles an hour. That's quite harsh. Oh no, maybe
Too much? Trigger.
Too much. I did too much, didn't I? Oh. The great thing about the Bakerloo line, people love it. It's got the oldest rolling stock on the underground, but of course the actual oldest stock is the 1938 underground stock that runs on the Isle of Wight, and I believe you can tell us something pertinent about the Isle of Wight, can you not?
Yeah, so one of our third-party developers, Rivet Games, is going to be releasing the Isle of Wight 4-train sim world, and it looks great. They're just driving the 1938 stock. It's another underground train experience, albeit you're not going to be actually underground, but it's driving that old classic underground stock. It's great.
We can stop there. That's it, we're good. My time here at Dovetail is gone. Matt, thank you so much. Give the internet a wave. As a little teaser, he's got up on screen the Isle of Wight. So this is out. This should be out today. My video is out today. We'll leave you with a shot. That's a class 483, it's the old 38 stock, but it's a Network Southeast livery.
Yes, absolutely, on the Isle of Wight.
Can you do a shot of it driving away?
Yep.
And we'll have that as our closing shot.